India's Prime Minister is set to meet his allies today to talk about forming a government. In a surprise election result, his Hindu Nationalist Party has lost its outright majority in Parliament. Financial markets fell on the news. Ratings agency Fitch says the weakened majority for Narendra Modi's alliance could put the brakes on government reforms. Newspapers say Modi's halo has dimmed.
Narendra Modi is greeted by crowds of supporters after winning his seat again in the city of Varanasi in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. But his Hindu nationalist BJP party lost half its seats in the bellwether state, which had been a bastion of support in the two previous elections. This helped to fuel his loss of an outright majority in parliament. Modi will now have to rely on his coalition partners in the National Democratic Alliance to make policy decisions and pass laws. Addressing party members at BJP headquarters, the populist leader hailed the win as a historical feat. Despite the setback, he becomes only the second Indian leader to win a third consecutive term.
This victory is a win for the world's largest democracy.
But the opposition is also celebrating after surpassing expectations and exit poll predictions. The Congress Party calls the substantial gains made by the opposition coalition a rebuke of Modi's mixed economic record and polarizing politics.
The main thing that this election has said, the country has unanimously and clearly stated, we do not want Mr. Narendra Modi and Mr. Amit Shah to be involved in the running of this country. We do not like the way they have run this country.
Critics accuse Modi's Hindu Nationalist Party of deepening divisions within the country, including through the use of inflammatory language, such as describing the country's 200 million-plus Muslim minority as infiltrators. For some, the reduction in BJP seats is a relief. For others, the prospect of a third term brings renewed fears for their future in the constitutionally secular country.
We want to see this country as it once was. This country belongs to Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs and Christians. Everyone wants to live in harmony. We want peace in this country.
Over the course of the last 6 weeks, more than 640 million people cast their ballots, making India's general election the largest in the world.
DW correspondent Shalu Yadav joins us from Delhi. Tell us more about the reaction to the result.
Well, Ben, I've been reading some reactions in Indian newspapers as well as social media since early morning today, and some really interesting reactions there. So just to get to the newspapers first, the Telegraph India newspaper headline says, India cuts Modi down, PM's vanity shredded. The Deccan Herald says, Modi 3.0 diminished. And here, another newspaper, the Indian Express says, India gives NDA a third term, Modi a message. So that really gives you a sense of the kind of reactions that we are seeing. But just one reaction on Instagram really caught my eye, and I would just like to read it out to you. It said, the people of India have given a verdict that will be remembered for a very long time in Indian politics. They've given Prime Minister Modi's coalition of NDA a victory that feels like a defeat, and the voters have given the opposition alliance a defeat that feels like a victory. So that gives you a sense of the broad range of reactions that we are seeing here in India, Ben.
So how weak has Modi come out of this?
Well, pretty weak because, he's not used to it. His party has managed to get an absolute majority on its own in the last 2 terms. But now his party is at the mercy of the coalition partners. So the tables have really turned. And the hallmarks of prime ministership of Mr. Modi over the last 10 years has been his authoritative, almost unilateral style of taking very bold decisions. But that will have to change now because he'll have to take his coalition partners on board with every decision that he takes. Mind mind you, coalition government in India is not highly unusual. We've had coalition governments in the past, but the casualty of those governments, the coalition governments, has been the governance and policy making, because it becomes that much extra harder to make big policy decisions. So we'll have to wait and watch to see how that pans out for this government.
What would you say about his record on stoking religious divisions and leaving parts of society behind economically?
Well, we're still unpacking the factors behind this fractured mandate. Whether or not the polarizing language played a huge factor, we'll have to really sort of deep dive into that. But what I can say with confidence is that... what I can tell you with confidence is that, over the last 2 months, when we have been speaking to the voters across India, they've been telling us that the burning issue really for them are unemployment, especially amongst the youth, and inflation. Remember, the prices of food and fuel have gone up really high in the last 2 years, and people have really felt the pinch of that. Now, coming to his religious rhetoric, if that's an indication, the very place, the constituency where he gave the most divisive speech of his political career, I have to say, where he called Muslims infiltrators. There, in the constituency of Rajasthan, BJP has lost, that seat. Another indication is the city of Ayodhya, where they built this grand Ram temple for the majority of Hindus, and it was launched by him with a huge amount of fanfare. But that didn't also work for him. In that constituency of Faizabad, that includes the city of Ayodhya, the BJP lost. So the Indian voters have really surprised us with this mandate, I have to say, Ben.
Unpacking those results for us, DW correspondent Chalu Yadav in Delhi.